Hello, 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 and welcome to another Women Wealth Wednesday. I am here, your host, Dr. Gladys, Coach Gladys. I'm flying solo again tonight, but it's not just me, it's me and you. All right, so let's talk about it. So, I am bringing you a topic that really it's a light topic, but yet it's a fun topic. As you can see, I have my presentation up here, but I wanted to share with you, you beautiful women out there. Welcome to Women Wealth Wednesday. Okay, so I'm glad you're here today because we're diving into a topic that I'm really passionate about. I'm passionate about teaching women, but I'm very passionate about sharing with you, bricks, beauty, and profit, real estate investing, and being creative. And this is something that I just want to dive right on into it. So let's get into it. So many of us think that real estate is spreadsheets and hard hats and man talk, but let me tell you something. It is so much more than that. Creativity is your capital. Creativity is your capital. If you've got vision and style and a little bit of grit, you have everything you need to thrive in this game. Yes, ma'am, you do. There is nothing that separates the boys from us. The only difference is our gender, but you know what? It's all good. I have done some of my best investments working with, my counterparts who are, of course, men. But nevertheless, let me adjust my camera here. Nevertheless, they are good people. We enjoy them. But there's a space for us. There's a place for us where we can really just be ourselves. That's why this community, She Rises Academy, was created by yours truly for us. Because there was a time and space where places like this didn't exist. Not too long ago, 17 years ago, when I was in this business with my sister, nothing really happened for us. So let's talk about some creative investing strategies. So I have this here because your creativity is your capital. I said that your vision turns meh into millions. Yes, millions of dollars. Not immediately, not overnight, but it can happen over a period of time. Creativity equals faster flips, higher rents, and your strength is your profit tools. Okay. What do I mean by that? What do you mean by that, Dr. Gladys? Well, let's start talking about it. Whether you're flipping or whether you're holding, women bring a totally different lens to the table. See, we see potential. We see potential. When I walk into a home that looks like it's dilapidated, no, ma'am. That house has potential in my eyes. That's how I look at homes that need some love, some renovation, some TLC. So, when you walk past that dated property, what do you see? What do you see? Are you already imagining like me? I can knock this wall down, make this an open concept. This kitchen can really use the appliances against this area, make this an island, make it L shape. Are you thinking like me? Because that's how I feel when I walk into a home, and I start thinking fresh paint. I start thinking stage furniture. That's your edge. That's your edge. And so that's what makes us different when it comes to being able to renovate. Even when I work with my male counterparts, it was always I who had that creativity in there. I would say, no, we should do this color, that color. We have a totally different vision. See, I've personally created approaches like flipping small, outdated homes and looking at my competition. And you know what? My property sells. You want to know why? Because I design it in a stylish way that either attracts it for a renter or a buyer. I think of the end game before I start. So therefore, I know who I'm renovating for. If I'm going to hold that property, I'm going to structure it a little bit different. My appliances may be a little lower, and I'm not going to put, the top of the line there, but I'm still going to make it attractive for who I think the end tenant could be too. It's not always, how much you put into the appliance. It's about how you renovate the property and what your end game is. If you're buying and holding versus buying and flipping. Okay, keep that in mind. And you want to partner with contractors who have value design. Some of my male counterparts have some really good designs. I know that there's a property that I did with a client of mine, and the way that we restructured that home, it gave it so much value. It was a sunken living room, and what we did with that sunken living room, we made that the office, and then we expanded and leveled out the the flooring. So therefore that became a family room. I have to show you that property. I may even pull it up and show you it if I have time this evening. Okay, so the results are really a higher return, faster closing, and branded people remember. Your brand is who you are. I became known as Gladys David, the real estate problem solver, because there was no project too small, too big, or too complex for me to walk away from. So really, that's really what it comes down to. Okay, being able to be creative and understanding your end game before you get in. The second part I want to talk about here today is the staging and the marketing and the style. Staging gives you that emotional connection. See, many of our end buyers coming into our home or end tenants, they don't have a vision. So your job is to provide them with that vision. So now let's talk about the beauty, right? The staging isn't fluff. It's a strategy. It's all about strategy. A well-staged home, it tells an entire story. It helps that buyer become emotionally connected and imagine themselves living there. If you walk into a home with a well-made bed with nice fluffy pillows and there's lamps there, soft lighting, that person can imagine themselves in that room. If you walk into a living room and it has, the lamps and it has the dimmed recessed lighting, this all gives them a vision. That's all part of it. And we as women, we get that. We absolutely get what it is. So let me give you a few staging tips. Use some lights and mirrors to open up the space. The lighting in a room, depending on how you use it, you can use dimmers to create a mood for it. And the mirrors will create the illusion that the room is actually, I'm not talking about your 1980s and your 1990 mirrors. I'm talking about a certain geometrical design that will give you that imagery. That's what I'm talking about. So it gives an illusion that the room is bigger. And always add some greenery. It always helps. It brings life. Whether it's faux or whether it's real, it brings some real life into that home. So and of course, the scent. I don't know about you, but I love a good smelling house. Yes, it's good to have your infusers into the wall. That helps the room stay fresher longer. But when you're talking about a home that's recently renovated, create that mood. My favorite place to buy my candles is, it's not Bed Bath, it's the other one. I'm drawing a blank, but I like to buy the really big candles and create a mood around it. Put some faux foliage around it, depending on what your season is. Make that mood count. This adds that extra ambiance, okay? Create that vibe that brings memory. Because if home buyers are looking at your home or tenants are looking at your home, you want to stand out. You want to be memorable. You do not want to be like everyone else. You don't want to be part of that mediocrity. No, ma'am. No. You want to stand out. And there's going to be something about your property that's going to be memorable, and make that smell, make that vision, make that person envision themselves living there. That is exactly why it's something that you should really consider when you are renovating, and whether you're buying or holding and flipping, it's all about creating the imagery. So that's what we bring differently to the table. All right, let's continue. So let's talk about investing with intention and style. This is really something that I want you to think about. What does your brand as an investor look like? See, the reason why I put that question out there is there's this glare that's just getting on my nerves. I don't know if it's my camera. Oh, forgive me. What does your brand look like, right? See, I know what my brand is, and I have my colors already. So it's just not getting into investing. It's a whole psychology of being a business owner and how you position yourself differently. So you're not just buying a property, you are building your legacy. And by that, let me give you some real simple example. When my niece was about 2 years old, she couldn't even read. But yet we were on the bus in New York City. And this is the cutest story. We were on the bus And she points out to me, Donald's. I'm like, what are you talking about? She saw the emblem, the upside down golden arches. Here, this 2-year-old can't read, but she recognized the symbol of McDonald's. If I were to say swoosh, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Nike. So that's what your brand is. People not only recognize your logo, but they're going to recognize your brand. That's who you are. So Nike has the swoosh logo, but what is their brand? Just do it. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. So I shared with you earlier, I know who I am. I know what my brand is. Yes, Gladys David, the real estate problem solver. I didn't give myself that name. I developed into that. I started out like everyone else in investing, but because the more complicated my transactions became, the more I didn't give up on myself, the more my confidence built. It all comes together. So for me, it was about sticking it out. And so when I went for my branding session with my wonderful photographer, I had a different vision for myself, and I started sharing my journey with him. And he looked at me and said, "You're a problem solver." And I said, "No, I'm not." He said, "You are a problem solver." And I have lived up to that brand till today. So now, whether you want to create a cozy family space or eco-friendly rehab or luxury Airbnb retreats, do it your way and know that your brand is going to be recognizable and memorable by you. I don't want you to be like the mediocrity that's out there. I don't want you to be a copycat, but develop your own brand and design your own story. That's really what I'm talking about. Design your story strategy. Use lifestyle branding, not just square footage. I mean, stand for your signature style, your color, your palette, your tones. I mean, really, really, stick out. Like when they walk into that renovated property or that rented property, they're going to know that belongs to Janet, that belongs to Sandy, that belongs to, they like, this is her style. I know that this is her. You understand what I'm saying? That is exactly what you want to be able to do. You're going to be recognizable. Make your listing people, make them scroll stop. They have got to absolutely stop and say, what is that? That's what I'm talking about. From the minute they get to your listing, your property, they are going from the curb appeal on out. See, it doesn't start from the inside out. It starts from the outside in, so that when people see that property, the property is clean. Your door is freshly painted. Your stairs are clean. Your shrubs are cut. Your grass is cut. It's got some design to it. That landscaping, that house is going to stand out from the outside. Your pictures are going to speak volumes, okay, before they even get into the home. The anticipation starts from the outside. Then they can't wait to open the doors, okay? Keep that in mind. Keep it in mind, because for me, the word that I think about when I start to work on a home is intentional investing. Intentional investing means designing for your ideal tenant or buyer from day one. When you invest with purpose and style, you attract the right people and you profit faster. That's what intentional investing is. I shared with you that investing starts from the outside in, but it also starts with the end in mind, not the beginning. So when you walk into that home, you have to know absolutely when you walk out who you're designing it for, what you're designing it for, and which strategy you're going to pull through. This home looks like a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, based on the market report that's happening in this neighborhood and based on the changes that I'm seeing. There are more rentals in this area than there are buyers. There are lots of newly graduated students from college. That gives you the big picture. That's going to tell you, you know what? The age demographics of the community will also let you know that this community is a rental community. So I'm going to fix this up. I'm going to hold on to this property for the next 3 to 5 years. So therefore, that's how I'm going to renovate it for. So I'm going to think of that. That's how I want you to think about what your next strategies are as you walk in and as you walk out. See, I'll give you an example. There was a property that I walked into and I was so certain that I was going to flip it. I was going to flip it. And I did my research. I did everything correctly. But when I got into the property, something about it spoke to me. The neighbors were so kind and so well receptive of, my company coming into the area, because the property had been vacant for quite a while and it was becoming an eyesore for the neighborhood. So not only was I bringing value by fixing the property up, but people were glad to see that, someone was really giving it some attention. The first thing we did when we started our rehab was not so much, the interior. We worked on the exterior first. We cut that grass. We power washed it just to make sure that it was starting to look fresh again. We brought in our painters. We brought in our roofers to make sure that the roof was still salvageable. Here in the state of New Jersey, we could put, depending on what county you're in, you can put up to 2 roofs on a property. So that's a little bit cheaper than tearing it up and then putting it anew. So if you are interested in the fixing and flipping program that we're starting in September, then that will be, something that you get in addition to just your regular registration. You'll also be getting the workbook. That workbook is a 220-page workbook that shares with you every step of what type of roof to use, what type of siding to use, different grades of flooring, different pallets. So that's a side note. Just wanted to put it out there because it took me back to that point where we were creating this course for the fixing and flipping. And it took me back to this particular investment that I was working on. And it just brought back really interesting memories, how well received it was. I was going to go in there. My first thought was, I'm going to fix it, I'm going to flip it, I'm going to make this quick profit. Well, it turns out that was not the mode. This house needed to be a rental because they wanted to see someone there, regardless if they were going to rent or regardless if they were just going to buy it out, but they didn't want to see it vacant anymore. And we were well received into the neighborhood. So just a little side note for you, that's a feminine touch. So let's talk about, using your femininity to sell your products, right? So what does that really mean? So the power, it has power in who we are. Yeah, we're beautiful people. Yeah, we're smart people, but we're also brilliant in what we do. This is a male-dominated industry. I said that to you. It's been like that. It's not going to change. In fact, this is a $50 trillion industry. It is huge, but there's opportunity for us. Because we represent less than, in fact, let me pull the numbers out. I don't want to rely on my memory. Tonight I just feel like oversharing. And I wanted to pull the data because the data is so important. And I am a data-driven individual. So I wanted to share with you, what does that data look like for the individual that is considering going into this industry? How big is our industry, right? Our industry is very, very big. But, that's not big enough. I need to be clear on the size of it. So let me just share with you, what does that look like? Bear with me one second. I believe it's right here. Yes. Oops. I want to pull it up on the correct side. I don't need you on that side. I have multiple screens here. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just talking to myself. Okay. The market overview of real estate. It is a 50 trillion, I said trillion with a T as in Tom, $1 trillion business. And there's an untapped market. 40% of that is untapped women investors. So you're just trying to get a small piece of the pie. You are not trying to get everything. Okay. So the fact that there's opportunity for you to tap into this $50 trillion business, total opportunity is there. You don't want all of it. You just want the piece that's due you. How about that? So that's what I'm saying. There's enough there for all of us. More than enough for all of us. So we're just getting started. We're just getting warmed up about what this availability is for all of us. Okay. So let me bring you back to what we were talking about, this male-dominated industry. We don't want to blend in. Okay. We work well with our male counterparts, but we don't want to blend in. We want to stand out, and we're capable of standing out. You know, in a couple of weeks, my guest on this program is going to be my friend Tiffany Elder, none other than the general contractor. So when I tell you that Tiffany Elder is a badass, that's exactly what she is. She is one of the fewest females that I have actually met who is a GC. And that's not just bragging. That's impressive that we have in our midst a woman who is a general contractor. And I absolutely love all that she represents. She is the real deal. She's not only a general contractor, she is a developer, and she has built, she has renovated. Some of her work is so impressive. In fact, Tiffany and I did not meet by mistake. She and I are both authors and speakers. She is a TEDx well-known speaker in North Carolina. I can't wait, honestly, for you guys to meet her. She is phenomenal. And I'm so proud to call her my friend, my sister, my partner. And she is one of the coaches in this program. So when I tell you I am bringing you the best of the best, I'm sparing absolutely no change, because She Rises Academy is here to stay for a very, very long time. This has been a labor of love for me. I built this program from the ground up. I have been working on it for the last several years, and to birth it and bring it to reality is just absolutely been as painful as birthing. But you know, the joys, if you have never given birth to a child, it's joy and pain, right? When you are in that process of birthing that child, and it doesn't matter whether you have how you deliver that child. Carrying a child and bringing a child into this world is a miraculous process. And the pain that comes along with it, the uncomfortableness of being pregnant. Well, I have been pregnant for the last 24 months with this project, and to actually feel it, see it, touch it, fruition it, and to bring my partners in with me is a labor of pure love. And when I tell you I am pouring my heart and soul into this event and into these classes, you guys haven't seen anything. I'm giving you the best, because you all are coming behind my first class. My first class ended last year, and these women are phenomenal. They're still in contact with me, but they are doing such great things. But it wasn't at this point. Our coaching structure was different. We now have a community. We now have a school. We have so much more to offer than when we first got started. We've tweaked it. We've made it better. So I will have an offer for you at the end of this, but I wanted to share with you that we are standing up and standing tall. We are shoulders back, chin up. We are doing it differently. So here's what I want to share with you. Use your feminine edge, your intuition, your empathy, for your eye for detail as your advantage. That is not a disadvantage. That is your advantages. I want you to lead like a woman boss, win like a boss. Again, your intuition, your empathy, build better deals, connection closer to those contacts, collecting closer to those contracts. Your edge isn't weakness, baby. It is your superpower. It is your superpower. Trust me when I tell you, when I walk into a room and I'm negotiating with the best of them, I don't feel weak. I feel very much encouraged. I feel empowered. I feel like I'm standing flat-footed in front, and I am serious as I want to be. I don't play when it comes to my real estate, because I absolutely love what I do. I enjoy what I do. This is my passion. I even call it my ministry. I really do. All right, so we still have some time. So I had some questions earlier that were sent to me before we came on live. So before I close, I will answer some of those questions that were sent to me. All right, so I was asked earlier today, what are some of the best strategies to consider in real estate investing? Well, there are about 15 to 17 different strategies. It's all going to be dependent on what your goals are, what your timeline is. What is it that you're trying to accomplish? See, it's very easy for me to say, do this. But again, That's why the program is scheduled for 10 weeks. It's a strategy that you're going to work on over those 10 weeks. Everyone is not going to start at the same place. Everyone may not want to do fixing and flipping, right? There are other strategies. There's wholesaling, there's bird dogging. There are so many other types of strategies you can do. And if fixing and flipping isn't, there's BRRR, there's Airbnb, there's, house hacking. There's so much more. It's all going to be based on what your goal is. And two things is going to drive that for you. Are you looking for chunks of money at one time to perhaps pay off some debt, get out of debt, and then later on you want to hold real estate for a couple of years so you can build up that passive cash flow? These are all the type of questions that you will be dealing with in the program. You will be designing what strategy you want to accomplish, not what I want to accomplish. I mean, whatever you want to do, I'm ready to help you get there, but it's about what your end goals are. And I want you to treat this like it is a business. It is not a hobby. I shared with you when I got into this journey, it was because I was looking for chunks of money. I absolutely was. I needed chunks of money. I was raising my son by myself after my divorce, and I needed chunks and chunks of money to pay for his care. So, but my needs changed. But I was very clear when I came in. I need chunks of money at a time. So I started out in wholesaling. I have wholesaled over 200 properties in central New Jersey, where I used to live. I'm now in South Jersey. I have moved away from wholesaling, but I have to tell you, I simultaneously wholesaled and fix and flip, because what I thought, again, knowing what you want to do at the end of a product may not be the end strategy. So it's good to learn a couple of different strategies together. So if I went to look at a property and I had the intention of doing a fixing and flip, because that's what my heart and mind was set up, because I needed chunks of money, but perhaps the budget to renovate it exceeded what my capacity was. At the time, I wasn't doing renovations more than $35,000. And I would suggest you don't start more than that either, because honestly, that's a lot of management if you're a first-time renovator. So you want to start at a different level of managing, because you will be that project manager, right? So for me, it was a change of strategy. I didn't want to manage a $45,000, $50,000 because I still had a full-time job. And so will you. I strongly encourage, as you are building this business out, keep your day job, sis. Don't quit it immediately. I mean, as you build this money, it's very tempting to say, hey, I'm out of here. I'm making money now. No. Slow your roll. Slow down. You'll get to that point. I mean, you don't have to stay as long as I did. I was double dipping. That's why I stayed as long as I did. I was enjoying the best of both worlds. I loved what I did previously. I was not mad at my job. I loved it. But this was my passion, and I never stopped. So I did them both together. You should too, until one can exceed the other. So if your investments outpaces your income and you can afford to pay yourself from your business comfortably, as you can pay yourself now from your job, just over broke, as I used to call it, then yeah, you can definitely slip out of it, but not while you're building. Okay, we're doing this brick by brick. Okay, we're not taking the whole building. We have a blueprint. It's the She Invest blueprint. We have a blueprint. We're bringing our blueprint with us, and we're building it brick by brick. So anyway, going back to that situation where I shared with you that no, I went into the renovation thinking I was going to fully rehab it, and it was more than I can handle. So at that point, my exit strategy was, let me just wholesale it, because there's somebody else who's got a bigger crew, who has more money, who can get this done quicker, faster, in a record time, better than I could. It would have taken me probably 6 months to do that renovation, and that would not be the best use of my money at the time. You know, you want to do these renovations as quickly as possible, but at the same time, you know, you don't want to rush it. You don't want a sloppy job. We talked about how we do things differently. So aesthetics mattered to me then, and it still matters to me now. So I turned it over and I sold it at my real estate investment club by offering it as a wholesale to a more seasoned investor. So that's an exit strategy. So take your time in figuring out what's good for you. We're going to have 10 weeks together. So therefore, by all means, Take your time. All right. So it's a mouthful, but let me share with you. Here's the takeaway, sis. Your creativity is not nice to have. It's your secret weapon. You don't have to choose between bricks and beauty. You can you can have both and profits. Absolutely. You can have both that and profits too. Okay. Bricks, beauty, profits your way. You don't have to choose. Do it your way. Creativity plus courage equals cash flow. Yes. Are you ready to rise? Are you ready to do something? Let's do something together. Let me ask you a question. What is your superpower? Share with me, what is your superpower? I know for me, it's figuring out the strategies. Okay. We all have different superpowers. And if you're ready, if you are absolutely say ready, here's what I want you to do. I know somewhere in here. Let me see if I can turn it on. Okay. If you're ready, here's my bonus to you. If you are ready to take this further, I want you to join me in my next class or DM me ready, and let's start building an empire together. This QR code will take you directly into my offer to you so that you are ready. So just click ready. I want you to be ready for your next move. Don't wait for someone to tell you that you can and cannot do this. I'm here to tell you that I'm living proof that it is doable. I'm still standing after 17 years. I know that it's doable. I know that it's possible. It is more than possible. If Tiffany can do it, I can do it. Coach Racinta can do it. Then listen, I'm just giving you a few women, and we are geographically in all different areas. I'm in New Jersey, Racinta's in Alabama, and Tiffany is in North Carolina. There's room for us all. But sitting on the sideline and trying to talk to yourself, I'm scared to do it because I'm afraid to lose my money. Well, there is no profit in fear. There's no profit in fear. You should be mitigating your risk by understanding what you're doing, by getting the right tools, by getting the right strategy. But sitting on the sideline afraid, this may not be for you. I mean, seriously, it's not a boys' game. Trust me. We girls are out here doing it, but you cannot be too afraid. If you don't know what you're doing, that QR code will take you directly to my page. It is going to offer you a 45-minute consultation where we can sit down, figure out what your strategy is, what your next steps are, and get into class. Because I tell you, we don't have a lot of seats left. And when we hit our capacity, that's it. We close the cohort. We will not be opening it up until November, late November, that is, because it is small by design. It is small for a reason, because you're getting over 75 years of experience packed into one room. We are going to be there to share with you the strategies, step by step. It comes with weekly 90-minute coaching sessions in your preferred area. You can't beat that, sis. I mean, not for what you're getting. It's group coaching. It's group coaching, but it's not designed that you're sitting in a room and not getting anything out of it. We're there sharing, we're gathering, we're collecting, we're investing, we are sharing, not just the coaches, but you're learning, you're picking up tools and strategy every week. And in fact, one of my next guests is going to be a previous student that I will be inviting to come on with you. And she's going to share with you, this is going to be phenomenal. She's going to share with you her fixing and flipping journey. She can tell you better than I can on how that journey was. In fact, I don't want to spoil it for you because when I tell you she got this thing done in record time, it was just incredible. It didn't hurt that she was in the state of New Jersey either. It didn't hurt that she had access to me regularly. But I just wanted to share with you that her journey hasn't stopped. She is still forging ahead. She is still coaching with me today. But I want to bring her on because she was one of the very first students who embarked on my coaching program last year, I think it was last year. And to share with you how she has grown and how much she has learned. And it is just, as she continues to grow and learn now, I just love watching her blossom. She is just like me and you. She's a mom. She's a single mom. She has 3 boys, and she's dedicated. She has a full-time job. Sis has a full-time job, and yet she is still dedicated. She never, ever misses a coaching session because it is so important to her that she gets to her goals. And I love that about her. She is a go-get-em, and I love sisters that are go-get-em. So yes, I will be bringing her on. But for tonight, I wanted to say thank you for joining me. I am always looking forward to Women Wealth Wednesdays and engaging in such great dialogue and such great topics. Join me next week as we bring you another great topic on Women Wealth Wednesday. You have a fantastic evening, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now. Bye-bye.